In those days, John the Baptist appeared in the wilderness waste of Judea. I could use your help on our sermon song. You'll find it on page 6, and it's kind of a call and response. It goes, I want to be ready, I want to be ready like John. I want to be ready when he calls. You know I'm trying to get my house in order so I can walk through the wilderness just like John. In those days, John the Baptist in the desert appeared, told us to walk through the wilderness just like John. John says the train is coming, so get on board. Let's make a trek through the wilderness just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready like John. You know I'm trying so I can walk. I want to be ready like John. You know I'm trying so I can walk through the wilderness just like John. You're beautiful. I find it weirdly disconcerting that our Advent lectionary focuses so squarely on John the Baptist, just the guy everybody wants to think about this time of year. And whereas Luke presents John to us from his conception and birth as a cousin of Jesus, right? In Matthew's gospel, we first find John the Baptist doing his baptism thing as a grown-up 30-something. Off in the wilderness, already making friends and influencing people, smelling like a camel, wearing leather, eating bugs, and calling people snakes. And yet, folks are flocking to him, says Matthew. Now, at this stage of Matthew's gospel, we haven't really met Jesus, right? We know he's been born. We know he's had to flee with his family as asylum seekers, finding safety over the border in Egypt. We know his family is finally able to move back to Nazareth after the death of the despot Herod. Harold's my son. He's very nice. But now, instead of Jesus, we get John. We get John, this odd prophet, working not at the centers of power, but on the margins, where the work of God so often happens. But as we heard from Lee a moment ago, the center has a way of seeking out the margins, especially when the center and those in power feel the threat appearing on the margins. John the Baptist is a strange character to spend time with during December. He doesn't show up in most Christmas pageants. I can't think of any Christmas carols that focus on John the Baptist. I thought of making one up, but it came out like, oh come snakes and vipers, fleeing wrath and judgment, come, for the axe is at the root of your tree. Pharisees and Sadducees, you're going to get yours. Yeah, I kind of agree. Thank you. Let's all scream in agony. You know, though, to be more serious, this Advent I find myself thinking about John out there in the wilderness. A place of loneliness and loss, that place of emptiness, place of longing. The wilderness is a powerful place in Scripture. It's where the Israelites wander for 40 years after the Exodus from Egypt and before finding the way to the Promised Land. It's where God finds them and makes a covenant with them, a covenant of love. The wilderness is where prophets like Elijah flee for safety when their own messages get a little too offensive for the powerful and the wealthy. And the wilderness, as we remember, is where Jesus is going to spend 40 days after his own baptism, fasting and praying, dealing with tests and temptations, getting ready for his ministry of love and justice and reconciliation. The wilderness is a powerful place symbolically. It's a powerful place metaphorically and existentially and spiritually. You could say that all authentic Christian experience begins in a place of wilderness. After all, if you're like me, your own spiritual growth often happens and grows from time spent in some version of the wilderness, some time of emptiness and loss, some time of distress or disillusionment, a time of loss of a job or loss of a loved one, loss of a relationship. Those wilderness places is where so often our spiritual growth takes root and grows. Now, traditionally, Advent is when we feel the absence of the divine, looking to Christ who's coming but not yet with us. It's the time when we can allow ourselves then to feel the need for the sacred in our lives, to feel the need of something divine being part of our lives, being at the center of our lives. In my own experience, God looks for me in those places of loss, those places of confusion and wilderness. And when I'm open to being found, God finds me there. And so, although I am finding myself more and more at this point in my life in a place of loss and loneliness and wilderness, although I'm finding myself at this point in this strange moment between pandemic and some sort of normal life, a normal which may never return, though I'm finding myself in this wilderness of confusion at a time of too much loss, a time when I feel myself buoyed by hope but never far from despair, I'm trying to be ready. Trying to be ready for Advent, for this Advent walk through the wilderness, this precious Advent walk through the wilderness. And I'm so delighted and encouraged to be walking that journey with you. I want to be ready. Let's try it. I want to be ready, I want to be ready like John. I want to be ready when he calls. You know I'm trying to get my house in order so I can walk through the wilderness just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready like John. You know I'm trying so I can walk through the wilderness just like John. John says the train is coming, so get on board. Let's make a track through the wilderness just like John. Straighten your path, prepare the way of the Lord. He's coming back through the wilderness just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready like John. You know I'm trying to get my house in order so I can walk through the wilderness just like John. I'm not into honey-dipped locusts for food, but let me walk through the wilderness just like John. I guess that makes me part of the viper's brood, but still I walk through the wilderness just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be like John. You know I'm trying to get my house in order so I can walk through the wilderness just like John.